Hi, welcome to Amateurish Adventures. I thought I'd try something a little bit different today. I have since we got so much traffic from one of the amateur radio videos that I did, and I appreciate that so much. And we also picked up a lot of comments. I thought that I would do a live Q&A here. Basically, answer people's questions if they have them live on the stream. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. I will be more than happy to answer that for you. But right now, I am going to answer a couple of comments that I didn't actually answer. Me and Sean haven't been answering many comments, and that's just because we've been waiting to do something like this and answer them on the air. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. This is my first attempt at live streaming. I heard myself in the background on the computer here, so I'm pretty sure that it's working okay. So, I'd like to answer a few of the comments that we got. I got 2E1FUE. Let's see if I can get his name. FSXNA2598. He asked, what's the FTA software on the monitor called? And that would have been MSHV. The link is in the video to download that. As far as QUONSAR goes, I wanted to answer this one. Syncing your time is only needed if you run a deficient crippled operating system such as Windows. I repeat, syncing your time is only needed if you run a deficient crippled operating system such as Windows. No. Your time needs to be synced, especially if you're doing digital modes. Your time needs to be as close to in sync as possible with the party that you're trying to communicate with. So every operating system, whether it's Linux, it's Apple, it's Microsoft Windows, Android, every operating system has to be in sync. Every clock has to be in sync, or else you're not going to make your communications. Let's see. The FCC's amateur radio service isn't a hobby. The U.S. government does not fund hobbies. The ARRL wants you to think it's a hobby. That I'm sorry. I don't believe that. I would like to actually see the proof on this one, because I cannot say I believe that at all. I'm sorry. Looks like the radio must use a microphone for input. This is for digital mode for any ham radio on the cheap. And it says, it looks like the radio must use a microphone for input. This is true. Sorry that I didn't mention this. I thought I made it clear when I said that you need a microphone for the headphone to go to. But yeah, a CW only radio, it may be able to be modified to actually transmit digital modes, but that's very doubtful. They don't do voice. So, unfortunately, no, you would not be able to use a CW radio. It has to be voice capable and it has to have a microphone. Like I said, while you can modify it, you can't do that. And what do you concur with? Why is the ham radio important in emergencies, like for 9/11? Well, that's a good question there, Angelina. And that's because when you have other communication services like your cell phone that you're used to or internet, they can't fail. They will fail. Amateur radio isn't a network. It is individualized nodes. And they can be put up and taken down in quick succession, quick pace. So during an event like 9/11, amateur radio operators were actually communicating on behalf of people because you couldn't make cell phone conversations. I remember trying to call out even from my line phone, my hardline phone, and I couldn't get out. So amateur radio operators were actually able to relay messages all over the planet during a time like that. So, yes, amateur radio, I believe, is great in emergencies. Absolutely. And I love you too, Angie. Okay, let me see. I like this one at Mr. Big Dave. Wow, nice setup. You're knocking it out of the park. Very inspiring. I don't even know how to hook any of this stuff up. I just do RF old school. When you get your G, you'll be so happy to expand all that into the next horizon. Great job. And that is absolutely true. I would love to, when I get my general class, I would love to go into maybe satellites, try to expand to do satellites. There's many possibilities. There's even the possibilities of combining two of my hobbies. I was thinking maybe amateur radio and drones. Yes, Sean, I would love to do a fun video on turning your van into a mobile Radio Shack. That would be a lot of fun. But, yeah, back to some of the comments here. Irving N1 ECC 230. Vertical antennas work great on both 10 and 12 meters. I like them better on these than a horizontal setup. They do seem to work better. I have been making a lot more contacts than I was with my my stealth dipole. But then again, that was also a homemade dipole. But yeah, I should add that to the list. Converting the adventure van into a mobile amateur Radio Shack. We got to set up some lighting like this around here. That would be awesome. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, yes. Joseph Lorenzen, I believe that's how you say the name, Lorenzen. I use an optical isolator, 4N25, instead of running the audio directly into the computer from the radio. I got too much noise from the radio when directly connected. This will happen sometimes. This will absolutely happen. Some radios aren't grounded properly. Some computers have issues where components are not grounded properly. And absolutely, if you end up connecting your amateur radio directly to your computer, you can absolutely have issues. And you'll hear a lot of unwanted noise in your signal. And that happens to me from time to time too, and I'm actually thinking of a way around that. Let's see, what else do we have here? David Evans, 6432. I began digital SSTV, and I believe SSTV, if I'm not mistaken, is slow scan television. Using over-the-ear headphones, rig mic, and rubber band. Rig on Vox $2 interface. Now, slow scan television is really cool too. That's another thing that I kind of want to get into, even though I'm into computers, I'm into all this new age stuff. Slow scan TV is really cool, and for those of you that don't know what it is, it's actually using amateur radio to transmit pictures. You can transmit pictures and images. It doesn't update very fast. That's why it's called slow scan. But yeah, you can absolutely just use radio signals to transmit photos or images or pretty much anything you want. Let's go, Brandon. 8113 for the DJI Mini 3 unboxing. He says, do not store fully charged batteries in the drone or charging base. It stops the battery's auto-discharge function and they can swell or worse. Batteries should be stored with 50 to 60% charge and fully charged just before use. Some of this I agree with. Yes, batteries should be stored at about 60% charge if you're not going to be using them for a while. And the reason for this is smart batteries, when they go dead, they go dead. You will not be charging them back up. They have a chip that has to constantly be powered, and if that chip loses power, the battery is basically a paperweight. And that's my understanding of it anyway. However, do not fully charged batteries, or do not store the fully charged batteries in the charging base or the drone. I know that there was an issue with the Mini 2. And it was a well-known issue where the batteries weren't actually discharging properly if stored in the charging base or the drone. DJI caught on to that issue and they solved the problem. I know for a while they were telling people, or I don't think they were so much, but there were videos all over YouTube saying to store the batteries backwards in the charging brick when they were fully charged up, and that would allow them to discharge. DJI caught on to that, and they released a fix for it, and that problem was resolved. From my understanding, that problem does not exist on the Mini 3 or the Mini 3 Pro. I store batteries in the drone, and I store batteries in my brick all the time, and believe me, when you don't use it for a few days, they do discharge, and they discharge just fine. Let's see. Seeing if I have anything else here. And if not, I will call it here since I'm not seeing anything in the chat. But I believe that I might have answered all the questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'll probably be answering more questions in another Q&A in the future. Nothing? All right. Well, I am going to take off then. It has been fun. I had a great time going live and chatting with you guys and getting some answers. Well, answering some questions anyway. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments.